Okay. I'm going to see if I can get this one going. It has been a tad temperamental, and it's a little hard for me to get the sound to um, level out the way that I would like. So the game might drown me out, or I might end up drowning out the game. We'll see. So, you know what? I'm actually gonna put on the live scene and let's see if I can get this going here. Um, oops. Alright, apparently Steam decided to be weird. Okay. Let's see if I have to turn this thing down or not. I didn't think I turned it down that much. Oh, okay, there it is. Alright. Alright, I might actually play with the sound a little bit later on because it's a little kind of fluctuates a little bit on, you know, we'll put it there. Yeah, kind of the halfway mark here. Yeah, people can hear it. Okay. Alright. Alright. I'm going to say new game in a sec. And yeah, once again, I'm playing at night. I do actually have the next 3 days off, so I suppose I could have started this like, you know, when morning came and I didn't have to worry about keeping my husband up. But um, you know, it's raining out right now, and I can't really sleep, and it's just like the back's still a bit sore, but it doesn't exactly hurt anymore. But you know, when the rain started up, it kind of started to hurt again because I do actually feel weather. So if but this is a sweet little game. I have played through it a couple of times, and you know, it's like I can see why people wouldn't play it, but at the same time, it's such a sweet little story that um, I just fell absolutely in love with it. Uh, you know, so it is one of the I don't know, it's just a cute little thing. It's really hard for me to put my finger on why it just strikes such a chord with me. Maybe I'll be able to put it in words by the end of it, but um, it's not super long. It can be a little bit cryptic, but you know, um, but yeah. Without further ado, I'm gonna start it. See how the sound evens out here. Oh, it's so quiet, dear. Oh, it's so quiet. Oh, dear God. You know what? Let me I'm gonna restart it, I think. And put the sound up. I'm sorry. I do actually want to reveal all the story and everything, so I am going to um I'm going to go back, and I am going to go into options. This is so weird because I had see now. Alright, alright, you know what, let's just see how that works. Alright, except, game, okay.
Hello, fellow traveler.
Now it's quiet.
Did you lose the trail? Come, have a seat by the fire. This is no night to be wandering these woods alone. You see, this is a special night, one rarely seen. Let me tell you a story to make the hours pass, one not many know of and even fewer believe to be real. What do you see in this piece of stone? Yes, it is small, not much to look at, and to most, not of any particular use. Yet it is not of importance to the story that I am about to share with you. You see, every 100 years or so, a strange event occurs. As the days grow short and the nights long, and night darker than others ensues. It is said that when the moon leaves the sky, as darkness envelops the land and the stars awaken, you can hear the sounds of being when you sleep, and if one lingers in the dark shadows waiting for sight to return, feeling that any other night would seem to be one thing, appear to be another. It is during a night like this that a small, in the scope of the world, insignificant creature with no name was born.
What is this place?
The insignificant creature without a name on it as he emerged from the ground and began to explore the dark world.
So, here we are. We are the small insignificant creature that has no name and never does in the entire game. He's just wandering around trying to find his place in the world. It's like you just basically hold down the mouse buttons and you just click around to figure out, okay, what do I want to do with this object?
On the ground there was a wooden bowl filled with what used to be flowers of vibrant colours, most likely gathered and forgotten long ago.
And left at the grave that you just crawled out of. And somehow this little fellow's not a zombie, he's just another life form that crawled out of a mound. I've kind of wondered if he was somehow like the spirit of some kid's pet or something. Because we'll see in a minute, there's farmland around here. Perhaps the farmer had a dog.
The small creature carefully picked up the bowl along with the dried flowers.
I have these stones here at the bottom, and they sometimes all 4 of them are lit, sometimes only 1, 2, or 3 of them are lit. And when they're glowing slightly, it means that you can do something on the screen. Most of the time, it's that was Earth, and I can only do it once, and it served no real purpose, really. It just did a thing in the dirt, and that was it.
As the small creature explored its surroundings, tiny drops of rain began to fall from the dark sky.
Apparently I control the weather. Yay. Since it's still glowing, I can't actually turn the rain off, so I will. Fire just made a little shooting star happen, which I can sort of keep doing. And that just makes a dragonfly appear, so there's not a huge amount of things that you can necessarily do on any given screen, but
The creature tried to collect some of the cold water, but was unable to keep the elusive liquid in its hands.
so you can interact with just about everything here. Because this entire game is basically a story being told to you at a campfire, if you do something that you're not supposed to do,
No, no, that's not how it happened.
the narrator scolds you.
The small creature barely managed to pick up the heavy grinding stone.
A skeleton. Is its name Jack?
The creature searched the ground for anything useful. Amongst the shattered bones, one piece seemed to be sharper than the others.
I don't think anything happens with those mushrooms. They just make them pulsate if they use earth. That starts the rain. Alright. Cool. Oh yeah, that's right. Something.
Reaching into the hole, the small creature felt something flat, round and hard. As it removed the object from the hole, it saw that it was an old coin.
Treasures. Mine now.
Suddenly, as the small creature stood silently next to the large stone, beautiful glowing beings joined in dance appeared out of the darkness. The creature beheld them in awe before they, just as quickly as they appeared, vanished into thin air, seemingly unaware of the small creature who so longed to reach out to them.
You gotta be careful about those fairies dancing in a circle, buddy. No, I don't want to go to the Elfstone. I want to touch everything and get my hands on it. That freaked me out the first time I
An
saw it.
angry voice emanated from the shed as the creature was about to pick up the piece of cloth laying on the ground. I found that. If you want it, you'll just have to bring me something else that I can use.
George, Doctor.
Hello?
The small creature said politely.
Who are you?
The guard stomped and looked at the creature. I'm the one who looks after this place. No simple task, mind you. The master of the farm hasn't been tending to the land enough this season, so I have to make up for his stupidity by working myself to the bone. The guard stomped and muttered in a stern yet slightly proud voice. You're a small one, aren't you? I haven't seen something like you before. Where did you come from? The small creature looked at the guard stomped.
I'm not sure. I remember waking up beneath a stone mound, and as I crawled out, the first thing I saw was the stars. Do you know why I'm here?
The small creature asked hopefully. I see. Beneath the old stone mound. The guard stomped appeared to remember something, becoming quiet for a moment before continuing. No, I'm afraid I don't know why you were born into this place, little one. Nor do I think there is truly a place for you here at the farm. You should look for a place of your own elsewhere. The small creature hung its head for a moment after hearing the guardstomp's response. Don't fret, little one. You'll find your place in this world, I'm sure of it. This farm has simply never been that place.
It just made me tear up for him. I've played this before, but I just feel so bad for the little guy.
As the small creature touched it, the top part of the shaft easily came off. The warmth emanating from the coals had almost faded when something seemed to reignite them. The small creature watched the coals for a while, spellbound by their calming glow.
Would you like to watch a fire? This is going to win. No, we go guy. Alright. Off to the field.
The dry soil crumbled as the small creature tried to pick it up.
Oh yeah, I forgot. It's just like you can. Nothing seems able to grow in the dry soil, so I gotta wet it down. And the machete's having a hard time taking care of the field, so I'm gonna find him a tool. The mysterious boulder is standing in the clearing. That's where the Alva dancing. And that's the one I technically solved. Might be someone around who can explain where I am. We're on a farm. So yeah, this is where we can make stuff happen.
As the small creature walked across the field, stalks began to sprout from the wet soil.
I wonder if I grew that fast when I was born.
The small creature pondered. The small creature managed to pick up a handful of oats off the stalks.
Something about this is also innocent. Oh yeah, that's right. I do actually have to turn that on so I can. I don't think that actually means anything. I can't remember if I can do this now.
As the small creature used the sharp piece of bone to cut the stitches that held the cloth in place, the scarecrow sprung to life, quietly watching its visitor.
Hi, I need to defile you further and take some of your brain. Okay. Goodbye now, Mr. Creepy Scarecrow with the glowing eye. Alright. That was one of the things that creeped me out the first time I played this game was that eye light up and I was like, oh shit. I'm gonna be hunted by a scarecrow now. No. Oh, yeah, I'll take a kettle.
The small creature tried to brush some of the dirt off as it picked up the old kettle. The small creature picked up the sewing needle with care, making sure not to hurt itself.
Oh, yeah, those are sharp. Okay, that makes the rat squeak. He drools. Ew. That makes the lamp flicker. And I think that just makes dirt fall. Yeah. Alright. Alright, buddy. I'm just gonna talk to you.
As the creature approached the corner of the room, a grumpy voice emanated from the darkness. Who are you to enter my home uninvited? If you came to steal, know that a meager creature like you would be no match for me.
Yeah, no
In
doubt
the
I'd smother
dark
in the
corner
beard.
sat an old husband, staring at the creature.
Please forgive me.
The small creature responded anxiously.
I didn't mean to disturb you. I was simply curious about this place. I'm lost, you see.
The husband looked at the creature for quite a while before breaking the silence. Well, you certainly don't look capable enough to be the thieving kind, he muttered to himself. But if I find that you conspired with him to steal my hat, you will be sorry you revealed yourself to me. The husband became quiet for a while, seemingly calming down. Although perhaps I could be persuaded to part with a couple of my belongings in return for something to calm my hunger. After all, most of these items have been gathering dust down here for as long as I can remember. But don't bring me anything fancy. I don't like brown nosing. Anything that will take care of my growling stomach will do.
There's a rat over there. How about that? Here, ratty, 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 ratty. Yeah, no, I don't actually capture the rat. Yeah, I know exactly what I get. Okay, I'm gonna stop the rain. Alright.
The small creature filled the kettle to the brim with cold water.
Well, no problem, it's not gonna stay that way. You can actually double click and oh yeah, that's right. Let's see. Other thing. Yeah. Couple of things that I do here.
Would this be enough to replace the cloth?
The small creature asked as it presented the hay to the guard stomp. Hay? Well, I suppose I could use that instead. I only found this piece of cloth the other night while keeping an eye on the field, but it's already becoming too dirty to wipe my feet on. The guard stomp responded as he handed the dirty piece of cloth to the small creature. Maybe you can find some other use for it.
My goodness, yes, I believe I will. Nope. Oh, shit. There's something else I'm supposed to do, but I can't remember what it is. Alright.
The small creature hung the water-filled kettle above the fireplace.
It might just be that one problem of like clicking things in just slightly the wrong order. Excuse me, sorry.
small creature carefully removed the hot kettle from the fireplace.
Yeah, it is. Okay, there we go. Yay, made oatmeal. Huh. Alright. Oh, why do I use this stuff? Oh, wait. Okay.
You sure didn't hurry now, did you? The husk-stumped muttered. Were you planning on letting me wait all night after I let you take my belongings? The small creature looked meekly at the floor. Well, no matter, this would stave off the hunger. The husk-stumped brought a spoon out from under his thick beard and began to eat. Since you've already helped yourself to some of my objects, I hardly think a reward should be necessary. The small creature hung its head as the husk-stumped put another spoonful into his mouth. Fine. Here, I borrowed this from the wretched one. I have no use for it, so you might as well take it. Now go away. As the husk-stumped filled the spoon once more, a long strand of thick silver hair came off and landed on the ground in front of the small creature, who saw no harm in picking it up.
Oh, now here's the thing. I know those pieces of cloth, I'm supposed to be able to make a hat out of them. Alright.
Is that what I think it is? The guard-stomp exclaimed as the small creature approached him. Is that my whetstone? Where did you find it? I don't even remember the last time I saw it. The guard-stomp let out a sigh of relief. Thank you for finding it for me, little one. My old worn-down tools have been the only thing standing in the way of me bringing this farm back on its feet. The guard-stomp rummaged around inside the shed. I'm afraid I can't find much of a reward for you. This old hammer shaft is of good quality, but I seem to have misplaced the metal head. I can't understand how I managed to lose these things. The guard-stomp scratched his forehead as he handed the hammer shaft to the small creature. Perhaps you can find a use for it, little one. I'm sorry I can't offer you a better reward.
No, there's nothing else there, so can't really do anything else with the scarecrow. Just seems like that. Oh, right. Alright.
In the remains of the old crate, the small creature found a ball of yarn.
Yeah, there was something I was forgetting to interact with, and that was it. Alright. Yep, go. And now he has his hat. That now reeks of hay and feet.
My hat? He had it, didn't he? That wretched thief.
The husband put the hat on his head and made a sigh of relief.
There, that's how things should be.
The husband looked at the small creature.
I suppose you want something for this, even though you've already taken my things.
The husband said grumpily as the small creature's eyes seemed to grow a little bigger.
Here, I found this hammerhead while I was looking for my hat. It's missing its shaft, so I don't know what use you would have for it. But the difficulty of a task should determine the reward, don't you agree?
Sure, stingy bastard. I have a hammer. Now, I'm only doing some of these things because I know that I can do them, but I can't remember what it was that I figured, like, there really isn't anything that truly implies that you can do this. You just end up, this game has that one failing where you have to, if you are truly stuck, you start clicking on everything in your inventory, on everything else in your inventory to see if it does something, and that's how I did this. I found out that I had a fishing rod, and there's literally only one body of water here where this would be a thing.
Using the fishing rod it just made, the small creature was able to reach the large glowing star in the middle of the spring. As the star's glow broke the surface of the water, an old gold bracelet took its place.
Like, maybe there is something, when I first played this game that I had missed, but that's probably my one true complaint about all of this is the fact that there are some cryptic things that aren't even hinted at in this game. I think that there's like one point where you can like look at this pond and the star's reflections, and it says that one of them seems bigger than the rest. But it's just like I have gone through, like I said, I've played this a couple of times all the way through, and I have clicked on everything, and there's nothing that says, it's just like, I mean, I think they phrase the star thing as, one of them seems different from the others, almost close enough to touch, and that's supposed to be like your hint that there's something there, but, unless you've already played it, there's really nothing that truly implies that you can take some of those objects and turn them into a fishing pole. You just end up randomly clicking on things, because that's what I did. I got stuck at I got stuck like right here in the first chapter of the game, and I think, let me put this back, I believe, if I'm not mistaken, this actually...
A large stone could often be found at the center of owl circles. How they got there, no one seemed to know. In some of the stones there were holes, said to be surrounded by strange symbols. These holes could be used to summon and gain boons from Alvor by presenting them with a gift. On the other hand, if the offering was not to their liking, the boon would instead turn into misfortune.
So when you first interact with the stone, it's just like if you pick this, it can actually, give you some of the lore, and some of the hints are in there. And I believe that if I had thought to do that with the spring, it would have said, I think it says something to the tune of, because it's been years since I've actually heard that. I believe it says something to the effect of, one of the stars seems different from the rest and close enough to touch, or something like that. And that's supposed to be your hint that you're supposed to get something that will reach into the water. And I suppose, if you're looking at the objects in your inventory, once you get them all, perhaps I can make a fishing pole. But, I solved it by getting frustrated and just clicking everything with everything else. Not the best way to solve a problem, but it worked. But this year, because they say, leave something for the album, and I fished this bracelet out of the water, and that's like the only thing there. And if you try the other things, I believe the narrator cuts in with, no, that's not how it happened, and,
As the small creature pulled the golden bracelet into the hole, a larger alva appeared, sitting on the stone. This alva was more beautiful than anything the creature could have imagined, with white glowing hair flowing over the rough surface of the stone, and a shining silver crown on her head.
Elf Queen.
The small creature's humbled words broke the silence.
Hello, I don't want to disturb you, beautiful queen, but if you would allow me but a few moments of watching your people dance, I would be most content. I don't know where else to go, as I don't know where I belong in this world.
The elf queen remained silent, yet seemingly not displeased by the presence of the small creature. As the dance continued, the creature watched the glowing beings in silence, entranced by their beauty. Suddenly, in a chanting voice soft as a whisper, the elf queen spoke. Her words were not of this world, and even though the creature could not understand them, it felt their power within its small body. As the elf queen started to fade along with her dancing Alvor, the smaller circle of mushrooms began to glow, as if responding to her enchanting voice. As the creature faded from the circle, it felt as if reappearing someplace else, leaving the farmlands far behind. Yet the creature was saddened, for even though the beings inhabiting the farm might not have given it the kindest of welcomes into this world, it had felt like a small part of their existence, recognized as a being, albeit an insignificant one, of its own. Now, as the small creature once more began to explore its unfamiliar surroundings, it felt alone.
There's just something so sweet about that. That the small insignificant creature was, was sad about the fact that as small as this world was, and the existence of the few creatures that it met on the farm, he was sad that they were over. So it's kind of like when we find um, those people that we have that one interesting few minutes of conversation with, but it's like you're never going to see that person again. Not not because anything necessarily bad happens. It's just that it's just like you went one way and they went the other. Perhaps you meet them at an airport or something. It's like that's it. You wish them well. You hope that things go well for them, but that's all you have. Well, that's dark. Sacrificial stone. Maybe. Maybe a creepy critter behind the tree. Bubbling over here. Oh, glyphs. With the stick in
The
my
moldy
hand.
stick had suddenly been set aflame and quickly burned to a crisp. All that remained was a pile of ash and a small piece of the charred stick.
With the stick and my highly evolved brain, I shall create fire. Also with the help of a strange magical sacrificial stone.
The creature picked up the charred stick.
Did he now? Oh, hello, little owl.
A group of Alvor had suddenly appeared up in the tree's canopy.
Okay. There's nothing else to interact with here yet. Not to say that they're going
This
to be later.
surely is a beautiful place. But why did the Elf Queen send me here? The creature wondered as he looked out across the glimmering lake, doubting that there would be a place for someone such as it along its shores.
So, you can see it. There's a creepy beast back there that roared when I hit Earth. That reveals this fellow. Fire causes the little creepy flamey things appear. They don't call them really the wisps on here. They call them something else that I can't remember how to pronounce.
After getting entangled in the fishing net for a while, the small creature finally managed to pick it up.
I shouldn't giggle. Fishing net is very easy to get tangled up in. Although when I was a kid, I had a hammock that was made out of a segment of fishing net. Sneeze. Excuse me.
The small creature reached out and grabbed the strange plants.
Hello.
As the creature opened its mouth to introduce itself, Nacken began to speak. Why, hello there, little one. Who might you be? Nacken said with a charming smile. The creature began, but Nacken quickly interrupted. Aren't you a talkative little one? But the small creature tried, but Nakan interrupted once more. Is there anything you can do besides staring like an imbecile? Nakan continued, now with a snide smirk on his face. Just stare at me. Stare like those pesky Alvor swirling around in the trees with their magic, flaunting their melodies as if they think them to be better than mine. Preposterous. The lake is my domain, and mine alone. If only I could leave the water, I might be able to get a hold of their secrets, Nakan muttered as he stroked his chin in thought. Anyway, my problems with the Alvor are none of your business. Why don't you use your tiny little feet and skip away out of my sight like a little bunny? Hop, hop, Nakan exclaimed, making a waving gesture towards the small creature.
Condescending bastard. Oh, what does it say he does?
Nakan is a being that is said to dwell within the deepest lakes and rivers of the land. Lone travelers have been known to hear his ominous song as they take a moment to rest at the water's edge. If they find themselves listening to his enchanting melody for too long, a strange urge to join him in the dark water instills itself in the unlucky traveler.
Oh, great. So, male siren. Yay. Oh, poor shell.
The small creature picked up the mysterious shell.
Yeah, well, I know what that's for. Alright, take an inch.
I knew I shouldn't have touched them, the small creature said, rubbing the rash on its hand.
Oh, why does she cries? Oh, she's so good.
The small creature quietly listened as the wingless Alva began to sing a sad, enchanting melody while looking towards the dark sky.
No, creepy toadstools. Hello.
The Natron is always moving from place to place, searching for something not visible to normal eyes, unable to rest until it has found what it is looking for. Taking the shape of a raven, it can only be seen during these darkest of nights, spreading its black wings across the sky.
Well, I happen to like ravens, so...
Hello, the small creature said as loud as it could, trying to get the attention of the Natram up on the tree branch. Missing its right eye, the Natram had to turn its head to see the creature. Who are you? The small creature asked politely, even though the Natram hadn't responded to its greeting. The Natram twitched its head back and forth to be able to study the creature thoroughly. Then it started to speak.
Yes, I can see your past. You are a very helpful creature.
And he wants a
Kind,
cracker.
yes. Risen from the grave, familiar, yes. But the future, I cannot see. No. The future lies within the right eye. Yes, the right eye will tell you what is about to come. Once the right eye is back in the void, the future will reveal itself before your very eyes, yes.
The Natrum called out, clacking with its beak.
Polly want a cracker?
With just a faint touch, the bark cracked and fell down into the small creature's hand.
At least the little ones have somewhere to live,
The small creature said, watching a number of insects skitter across the bark.
God, that's sad. No, it was something squished. I can never see what it is. Oh. So because I'm standing in the way? Yeah, okay. I was gonna say, it's just like, I can't remember if that's something about me. Ooh, foxfire. Snail mucus. You.
The adhesive mucus was too sticky for the creature to carry in its hands.
I don't think. Yeah, I don't think there's anything here. Nope, okay. See now, the reason why I thought of this wasn't random clicking, it was the fact that one, when you have video games, oftentimes you can go down wells, and secondly, I have actually used fishing net to climb, so I knew that this was actually a possibility. I mean, if you can use it for a hammock, I mean, why can't you use it to climb?
After much effort, the small creature managed to pull the shovel out of the ground.
I'll talk to you in a sec. Oh, yeah. I'm glad I wasn't standing under that. Alright.
Broonscuba are guardian deities who reside in deep wells, making sure that the water is clean and drinkable. They also keep an eye out for curious children, chasing them away to prevent them falling down into the wells. A broonscuba is usually not a particularly evil creature, but if its well gets polluted, the broonscuba's anger knows no boundaries.
Oh, no, right. You know what? I'm gonna actually hang on.
As the small creature reached the bottom of the well, it was welcomed by two glaring eyes, staring at it suspiciously.
Hello?
The small creature said, meeting the eyes' glaring gaze. The pair of eyes kept staring at the creature as if they were waiting for something. The creature could feel the eyes burrowing into it like daggers, and began to look around the well to avoid the eyes' penetrating gaze.
You have a very nice home down here in the well,
The small creature said in an attempt to get the one on the wall to talk. Without having blinked once, the eyes were still maintaining their intense stare. After a moment of silence, the broonscuba started to speak.
Well, aren't you going to say anything? You barge into my home, uninvited I might add, and you don't even have the manners to introduce yourself. Who do you think you are? I did introduce myself.
The small creature mumbled, hurt by the broonscuba's harsh accusation.
Not a day goes by without someone new falling down into my well. All you do is stare at me. It's rude, that's what it is. You think it's good manners to just come down here and do as you please? Where are the gifts? The knock on the lid and the water? Where is my damn water? I'm not much of a guardian with nothing to guard now, am I?
The broom scooper muttered as he inspected the creature.
Can you hear me?
The small creature asked cautiously.
Bah, this one doesn't even understand it has, by far, overstayed its welcome.
The broom scooper said to himself with a sigh.
Scram, come back when you've got something to say. You're a real eyesore.
No, I called me ugly too.
I don't think he can hear me very well.
The small creature thought to itself as it glanced at the broom scooper, still maintaining his terrifying gaze while mumbling to himself.
It probably freaked me out too. Go down to the bottom of a dry well. Two big glowing eyes are staring at me. Glaring, really. Hats off to this brave little creature, even though his voice is quivering. My goodness, I'd probably be like scrambling back up that net with terror shits.
Can you hear me now?
The small creature asked as it placed the shell in the broom scooper's ear.
What?
The broom scooper's fierce stare disappeared abruptly upon the surprising discovery.
I haven't had any visitors speaking to me in a long time. Very well, good manners is a rare thing these days. I suppose you can have one of the gifts I've been given over the years. Cherish it like I have, and you will surely find it useful one day. I will. Thank you,
the small creature said with a humble bow.
Okay. He give me. Oh, right, he gave me that tablet. Okay. Yes, it's not your imagination. There are, in fact, more toadstools. I remember what I need to do here.
The small creature placed the bulrush pods on the stone.
Again, originally this was one of those things where, I figured it out with clicky work because that smarmy fellow in the lake wants stuff from the owl, but he says they flicker around in the trees, so this is the first place that I figured to go. But it doesn't let you just interact with the alga, it just has them appear in the trees and it narrates the fact that you look at them in the trees and stuff. But you do kind of figure that, oh, okay, it's just like this stone burns something, so I click stuff with the stone until...
As the bulrush began to smolder, a trail of smoke emerged and began its journey towards the sky.
And then I got these guys.
As the alvor started to cough from the thick smoke, a thin trail of alv dust fell from one of them, forming a small pile on the ground.
I think you need a low dandruff shampoo.
The small creature managed to scoop up the glowing pile of alv dust.
Yeah, my hair does that when I get the shampoo. I make it snow, glowing dust. That makes him happy. Include the mushrooms. Or make the light glow.
The small creature poured the glowing alv dust into the lake.
This feeling, I can feel them, their power coursing through me.
Maybe you aren't as useless as I thought. Here's, a bottle for your troubles. I'm sure you can use it for whatever it is you do, Nacken said with a sarcastic look. You may still be able to prove yourself slightly competent. Get me one of their melodies. I want to see for myself just what makes their songs so captivating. Your reward will be greater next time.
Okay. Okay. Nope, I know what I gotta do. To go over here and use the shovel.
With the help of the shovel, the small creature managed to remove a large enough section of the nettles for it to pass through. A branch covered in berries came loose as the creature grasped it with its hand.
Yes, I'll,
Hello there. I hope I'm not disturbing you.
The small creature said anxiously as it approached the alva on the stone, hoping that she would not turn away at the sight of it. The alva slowly looked up at the creature as she wiped away a tear rolling down her chin.
What's the matter?
The small creature asked as it tilted its head in wonder. The alva gave the creature a sad look before turning round to expose her wingless back.
I see.
The small creature said.
Please don't cry. Perhaps I can help you. Don't worry.
The alva clutched her hands together and looked at the creature with pleading eyes.
I might be in over my head this time. I hope I can keep my promise.
The creature thought as it slowly walked away.
and this is effectively the rest of the game. The creature is no longer looking for its own purpose in the world. It's looking to help the Alva get her, find wings for her, find a way to get her wings. No.
If it's not too much trouble, do you think you could share your beautiful song with me?
The small creature asked nervously. The wingless alva's face lit up for a moment, giving the creature a slight nod before writing down the notes on the paper.
Very kind.
I've never met someone as beautiful as her, but still she appears so sad.
The creature looked down at its tiny hands.
If there is some way for me to make her smile, I want to find it.
And there it is. This little creature's entire purpose in life is to make that Alva smile. Now, I only figured this out, and I realize I'm doing things and then explaining it afterwards, but at first I figured, okay, and this is why I clicked the paper with the bottle, was I figured, alright, I'm supposed to put the paper in the bottle and toss it out to, to the snide fucker in the lake, and instead, it's like, so it says, no, no, that's not how it happened. And then through some random clicky work, I ended up basically making a little bark boat. It didn't take as long as I might be implying because, again, this is actually something that I have done in real life. I've off of like detritus I found on the beach and stuff. Make a make a boat off of what I found and see if I could get it to sail. And so I looked at the stuff in my inventory. I'm just like, okay, if that floats, then that could be a mast, and yeah, so I did kind of figure that off of life, but um, that was fun too. That was a fun little project. So it was actually a little school project, the time I'm remembering, but you have to blow it out there. You have to use wind.
Now, this is surprising. I didn't actually think you could obtain something like this, Nakan said, seemingly impressed by the melody written on the note sheet. Very well. I suppose you have earned somewhat of a reward. Look into the shallow water at your feet. There should be something suitable buried in the sand. As the creature searched the bottom, it found a large mussel. Now I don't have time for you any more. With this melody and my ability, I'll be able to surpass all others. As Nakan disappeared into the murky water, a subtle violin could be heard stemming from the depths of the lake.
Cool. No, I think in the long run I probably did it bad, but it doesn't really come back to haunt me as far as the game is concerned.
Using the iron ring, the creature was able to break the mussel. As it shattered, a gleaming pearl was revealed. The creature reached down and picked up the exposed pearl.
Now, the way I ended up figuring that out the first time was, it's like he gave me a mussel, and I know that mussels can have pearls in them, and then I remembered this fellow who's looking for an eye. It's like, pearls are small, bright, and round.
The void has been closed, and once again the coming times are mine to behold. The Natrum croaked as it stared into the distance. Your future is dark, yes, tumbling down into nothingness. The darkness swallows you whole, yes. There is more. Crumbling, yes. Crumbling, and then a light shining through the darkness. Escape quickly. Escape the darkness, or it will swallow you once again. The Natrum went silent as it once again stared into the distance. As the Natrum finished its foretelling of the small creature's fate, it spread its wings and flew away over the trees, bringing the conversation to an abrupt end. During its departure, the Natrum had shook off two of its black feathers that slowly fell to the ground. Maybe I can use these to help the sat over, the creature said, watching the Natrum's silhouette grow smaller and smaller before disappearing amongst the treetops.
If I'm not mistaken...
Using the sticky mucus, the creature was able to glue together the two feathers. Yes, perhaps this will do, it thought, proud of its creation. The toadstools are spreading rapidly. If nothing is done, they'll cover both me and my well. Stop them, I beg you. The broom scooper let out a calm sigh at the sight of the nettles.
That should do the trick, at least for a while.
The broom scooper looked at the creature.
You need to escape this place. You can't stay here. The toadstools will soon engulf this part of the forest. Hurry! Flee while you still can.
The first time, the only reason why I ended up coming down the well at all is because if you had actually tried to go back here. Oh no, wait, never mind. It still lets you back here, but it starts to block you off. Oh no, wait. Oh wait. I'm thinking of this in the wrong order. I went and got her wings and then...
Here you go, wings, the small creature said cheerfully and held out its creation. The alva gave the two feathers glued together by the snail mucus a doubtful look.
Try them on,
the small creature exclaimed. The alva stood up and tried to put the wings on her back, but they just fell to the ground. They were simply too heavy.
I'm sorry. I will bring you something else,
the small creature stuttered, its face turning slightly red. The alva let out a disappointed sigh and once more sat down on the stone, resting her head in her tiny hands.
Yeah, sorry. First time I went through,
As the creature turned around, it noticed the increasing amount of ominous toadstools beginning to move a bit too close for comfort. Heeding the broom scooper's warning, it decided to find a way to leave the lake.
The sad alva,
the small creature suddenly remembered.
Without wings, she won't be able to escape by herself.
Basically, the first time around, if you give her the wings, that little bit of narration doesn't end up happening, but these toadstools over here do grow in the way, so you're blocked off, so you can't get over to that tree. So, of course, I end up going over here to where the well was, and that's when the broom scooper tells me, all right, you have to get out of here. And yeah, now she's clean and tearing. Creepy. Super creepy. So yeah, the little scroll up here is supposed to give you guidance on what you gotta do. Okay, so yeah, I have to... So she's holding the friggin'... She's holding the alba. Actually, I'm getting kind of hungry, guys, so I'm going to stop it here. I'm probably not going to start again before I go to sleep. I'm going to play this later. I'm definitely going to beat this. Because, again, I absolutely adore this game. This is a pretty short chapter, but yeah, I think this is a good place to stop. I'll probably be back after I've eaten and had some food, but yeah, So anyway, good night. Thank you for watching, and it's like I will be probably back on during the course of the day, actually, rather than late at night. So, um, but yeah, I will be back on playing this. But because my back feels better, I might get back into getting over it after I've beaten this game. If not, and it doesn't go well, then or it still feels like it's causing my back to twinge from my reactions and getting over it, I will think of something else to play after I'm done with this. Um, but yeah, I'm definitely gonna beat this just because I think it's such a sweet little game. I love the small insignificant creature. I just want, it's like you just want it to go well for him. Um, anyway, good night. Thank you for watching. I do appreciate it. And see you again. Um, save my game. That's chapter 5. Alright. Yeah, I'm gonna save over it. Unless I would like to record that. Alright. Okay. Quit. Yes. Yes, I would like to quit. Again, yeah, thank you very much for watching. And it's just like hopefully this, it's like it's a pretty chill game to play through. It's just like, and again, I can't really get too animated because I have my husband sleeping in the next room and I don't want to wake him up on accident. He claims that nothing I do out here wakes him up at all, like he doesn't pick up on it, but I don't want to make like that one noise or that one tone of voice or get that one reaction that just manages to break into his sleep. Because it's just like I hate it when it happens to me, and he generally doesn't do it to me. I'm much the same way. It's like I can sleep through just about everything that he does, but yeah, it's you always have like that one noise that just somehow manages to break through, and I don't want to do that to him. So my playthroughs tend to be a little sedate when I have to do them at night while he's sleeping. But again, I have the next few days off, so I might actually be able to play during daylight hours. At least before he gets, as long as I'm up before he gets in from work. Uh, but again, I'll be on again soon. And I'll play Arknate again. And we'll see what else follows that. I've it's like streaming's a new hobby for me, and I'm actually starting to enjoy it. Hopefully whoever watches me ends up enjoying it as well. And, you know, I'd like to bring a little significant insignificance into the world myself. Anyway, have a good night.